You're watching Cheery TV.
Sorry. Howdy, everybody. I'm tired. But howdy, welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, where I scream at you for the first 5 seconds for once. Normally I make it pretty tame, but you know what? We're going Insano style this week because I have no idea what I'm really going to be doing today. It's a train wreck. It's an absolute train wreck. I have no idea. This conversation, I don't have anything written down for it. It is the stupidest fucking thing. It only exists because of one moment on stream last week that it lives in my head rent free, and I can't not think about it. So we're here talking about it today. It's gonna be fun. But yeah. So before we do that, we gotta get into everyone's favorite subject. This week in retail. So what happened this week in retail? Well, just sit down for like a second and I'll tell you. So, wait, hopefully, because I got some stuff to tell you. Nothing too special. I have a few things, though. They're kind of big things. Not like super big things. But the first half of the week, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm sure something happened. My mind is a blur. I have no recollection of anything that happened on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, except for the stream, and then whatever the hell else I did. I can't remember. I honest to goodness cannot remember. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think about it, and I can't think about it. It's really tough, gotta say. But it's fine because Sunday something did happen. It was the final day of competition with me and my coworker. What does that mean? Were we wrestling or thumb wrestling or arm wrestling or some form of wrestling? No, we weren't. It was a coupon saving competition. We both were trying to save every last dollop of coupon that we got at a store that we both shop at, and we were like, oh, hey, we noticed that we each had a bunch of coupons. We're like, oh, well, what if we save these and we see how much of a big freaking deal we can get at the end? And so we started this all the way back in October, or like October, November, somewhere around there. And holy shit, it was crazy because we were expecting to end the competition in December. And at that point, I already had such a huge lead because I was already saving a bunch of stuff, so I was kind of, I don't know if it counts as cheating or not, but either way, I already had a bunch saved up because I didn't really use them. But they always use theirs immediately, and then I was like, hey, what if you didn't do that? And I was like, oh my god, and she's like, oh my god, you're right. It's just a smart idea. Totally. And then December rolled around, the end of December, and then we were like, hey, what if we did it for a little longer? and we did, and it was fun. But we finally ended it on March 31st, that last Sunday, and needless to say, I won the competition. Even with giving them some slight edges, because they were clearly going to lose anyway, it wasn't very close. By the end of it, I had $32.85 worth of coupons on my card, and I was like, yo, this is dope. I'm so cool. They, including all their extra things that they shouldn't have included, which was like $10 worth of stuff, they had $32.20. So technically they had $22.20, but I had 32. So we both counted it, so it was fine. But I still won, and it was great. I felt cool. And as a win for that, at some point they're buying me lunch. I get work or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it'll change. Who knows? Either way, I bought some stuff with that, and it was great. I bought like a huge thing of lotion because my hands like doing that thing where they get hard and really fucked up. So I bought some lotion to counteract that. I got some soap. And I got some new earbuds, which was all like $60+, and I got it down to me paying a little under $5. It was awesome. They bought some stuff too. They didn't pay anything, and they actually still had some left over. So they saved pretty well, I would say. So yeah, overall, pretty good. It was a pretty damn good day for us. And I felt it was good. It was nice. And then Monday kicks around, and I was supposed to have off Monday, but leave it up to me to immediately agree to do anything. Sorry, I'm yawning so much. not really that tired. Every time I talk, my brain thinks I'm yawning or something, and it just goes to yawn. I really don't know why. But worked at a different store, because of course, and I felt super useless this day because they put me in a specific spot in the store where technically I can work there, but I have no idea how. so I tried my best to do that, but I just wound up organizing a bunch of stuff and running register because I had no fucking clue how to do anything else, and it was a very confined space in this store, and I had no idea what I ate that day. Or the day before. But, oh my god. I was farting so much. And it was bad. It smelled awful. Like, I think that even stretched into the other day, because I remember now, like, walking through aisles in my store, and like, oh shit. I don't know, fart. And I'd walk around until I found an empty spot, and then I'd let loose the holy disease that I had, and it was so disgusting. It's like, I normally my farts go away pretty quick, like they're pretty bad, but they go away pretty quick. These were like, I feel slightly less bad, but they lingered, so it was like a constant cloud in the area that I farted in. And that was the exact same thing that was happening on Monday with this super confined area, and I was like, shit, I'm just gonna go over here, maybe I'll it was horrible. It was the entire time. I tried like holding it in as much as I could, but sometimes, you know, like you get to the point where you're farting and like, you really gotta rip it. And it's a tough one, and I felt horrible for being there that day. They had so many people. I think they said they were supposed to be like short staffed, but they had a ton of people back there that day, like 5 or 6 people. In comparison, we usually have like 2 people, including me, max, in the rest of the store. So pretty wild. But it was interesting. It was interesting, and I felt really bad because I was pretty useless, and I just made their place smell disgusting. And I'm sure they were happy to get rid of me. I'm sure there's plenty of stories going around there that I smell horrible. Which isn't wrong. And this bridges not really super well into, but it does move on to the next day, the last day. Not yesterday. Tuesday. Wednesday I had off. It was pretty cool. Tuesday, I spent the entire day just trying to figure out how I can get somewhere to see this total eclipse that's happening on Monday. I'm going to go a lot more in depth about it next week for this week in not this week in retail, I guess the Stranded Deep in conversation in general. But I spent literally the entire day doing that. I didn't do anything really. I did like a little bit, and I feel bad because I'm sure people aren't happy with how little I did that day. But I had way more things to think about. Like just as a little spoiler to you guys, I was genuinely contemplating like getting a plane, which is the first time I'd ever fly. But it's I'm like right there. I'm not right there. I'm like 6-hour drive away from an area that would be in the total range of it, and I don't drive, so I'm figuring out literally every other way. Trains were sold out, planes were mostly sold out. The only ones that were left were ones that were like 18-hour, 20-hour excursions for literally 300 miles of moving. It's rough, but I figured out a way, and I'm going to talk about it all next Thursday, so stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. But anyway, so concludes this week in retail. I swear one day I'm actually going to have like a little jingle or something, or like a thing that pops up on the screen for this, but for now it's just me talking to you guys about this week in retail. Nothing too special, but I hope you have a good time nonetheless listening to it, because this is the only interesting part of today's conversation. I can assure you, this is going to be a very short episode, let me tell you. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about Frida Freakin Kahlo, alright? And let me start off by saying I have no general hate for who Frida Kahlo is. Mainly because I don't really remember. Is she an artist? I'm gonna have to Google this right now, but I think she was she was a Mexican painter. Yep, and she is very, very famous person. Like obviously, it's Frida Kahlo. I feel like most people kind of know who Frida Kahlo is. I got to learn all about him back in school during like Spanish classes and stuff. Like Frida Kahlo, there's always like a day for Frida Kahlo. No, I mean, I don't know exactly why, but she was a very important person. You know, obviously because she was an artist. She has some interesting art. I'm looking at it now. I mean, it's kind of It's not my style, but I mean, as long as other people seem to enjoy, then hey, like your art, like your person, I don't care. What I just need from Frida Kahlo is for her to stay the fuck away from me. It's not like, because listen, like they have a very interesting face, which I'm not gonna riff on or hate about. I mean, like it's fine, honestly. Like she got like the unibrow sort of thing going, which I feel like is a very just underused, but almost kind of in a good way, form of just hair on your face. Unibrows are kind of weird, if I'm being honest. Like, obviously, no hate to you if you got one, but I can't see anybody really pulling it off well. And I don't think Frida Kahlo really does either, if I'm being completely honest with you. But that's not the reason that I hate. Hate is a strong word. It's probably a correct word, too. At this point, I kind of hate Frida Kahlo. Because I cannot stop seeing Frida Kahlo. I don't understand why. I don't understand how. But everywhere I go, especially I say especially recently, but for the past few years now, there is always somehow a reference, just a thing about Frida Kahlo, or whatever it may be. There's always something that alludes to Frida Kahlo, and it gets to the point where I get like freaked out when I see something that almost looks like Frida Kahlo, but it isn't Frida Kahlo. I lose my mind. I actually go like apeshit insane. It's crazy. And there's just a lot. There's a lot of instances where this happens. The most recent one that I'm talking about today is because I was doing that personality test thing. Like the 16 personalities test online, and I found out that I was like fucking ISFP. I don't remember. I was an adventurer. That's all I remember. I was an adventurer. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm an adventurer. I was very middle of the road for everything, except for the fact that I was assertive. That was it. That was the only thing that was more than 60%. I'm pretty sure. Go watch that if you're interested. It was the first quiz we did that day. It was a long fucking quiz. Like I tried talking through each question. I really shouldn't have. It took like 40 minutes to do, but towards the end of it, you get a little synopsis, a little summary about all the things you did. And one of the things that pops up is celebrities or famous people who are your same personality type, which is like, in what world do you know certain things? Because they'll pull people out of like fiction. They'll pull people out of their ass from like the past, like hundreds of years ago, and be like, "Yeah, you're the same as George Washington." I'm like, how the fuck do you know George Washington's personality type? Like, who sat down in your facility and was like, "I'm going to take this test as if I was George Washington," and then that they use that as like a canon answer for what the fuck George Washington's personality type is? I don't know, but all I know, I don't remember anybody else that was on that list. I went like 3 or 4 clicks down, and of course, I go and I eventually see Frida freaking Kahlo again, and it drove me insane. I think I immediately closed the test and moved on because I was just so filled with rage. I didn't want to show it too much, but it genuinely fills me with rage seeing Frida Kahlo nowadays because of just how much I see them and on every day-to-day basis. It's ridiculous. And there's many reasons. There's many situations where it's happened. One in particular was actually one that really lives in my head rent-free. I went to Barnes & Noble with my sister one day. This is like a year or 2 ago at this point. I don't remember. Maybe it was this year. I really don't remember. I don't remember the day at all. I don't remember anything else that happened that day. I don't know what we bought that day. The only thing I remember is after we looked at the board games, because I love looking at the board games at Barnes & Noble. That's what I do. I don't really care much for the books, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. They went to go look around some of the books, and we're like, okay, I'll join. Yeah, I'm done looking at these, and I'm not really going to buy one, but they're just cool to look at. And we went through whatever sections we did, and then eventually we stumbled across a Frida Kahlo book. And at this point, it's very well known that I am like a magnet for Frida Kahlo. And I'm like, God damn it, are you kidding me? Frida Kahlo is really on that book, and she laughs, and we keep moving. And no less than a minute later, we come across a completely different section of the store, and we see another Frida Kahlo book, and we're like, what? How? This is impossible. And we move on. Another Frida Kahlo book. All different books, by the way. All completely different books about Frida Kahlo. Just in different sections of the store that we're going in. And I don't know where we're going. Maybe we're going in a purposeful path. Maybe they're leading me to the Frida Kahlo books. I don't know. But then we get to the checkout, and there's like 3 different Frida Kahlo books all on like a little display. Maybe we went on the day of her birth or the day of her death. I don't know. But she was just there. It was insane. The amount of Frida Kahlo that was in that store that day. Like, I'm assuming it must have been like a Frida Kahlo appreciation day or whatever, because there were literally like displays with Frida Kahlo books. We saw no less than like 10 different Frida Kahlo books on that day in different areas of the store, and I couldn't escape it. It was a nightmare. It was honestly a nightmare. A nightmare. And I didn't want to be alive. I did. But it was horribly, cosmically hilarious. And obviously that's not the only recent one. There's plenty of other ones. Like we went to there's a bakery nearby that we love going to, especially on Fridays, because everyone but me is usually off on a Friday, so we'll all go out and like eat something and before I have to go to work, and then they'll go hang out after whatever they're doing. And the place we go to has a lot of like magnets on it, on like a little pole next to their checkout, and it's got a bunch of stuff on it. Some interesting ones, some funny ones, some bizarre ones, but overall they're all pretty tame and pretty sane, like a reasonable thing to be putting on a wall in an establishment. And there was one that, if you couldn't tell from the topic of the story, was just a picture of Frida Kahlo, which was not there any other time. We went to that place numerous times before this incident, and then I look at the magnet wall and I see a freshly placed Frida Kahlo on the magnet wall, and I'm like, there's no fucking universe where this is happening to me right now. And I left the store. I didn't even get to order yet. I had to sit outside for a minute and be like, what the fuck is happening? And then I went inside and ordered. I'm very over-exaggerative about this, especially when it happens. Like, obviously it's not a big deal. It's just Frida Kahlo. But I get so unbelievably rage-filled in the moment when I just turn around and there she is. And if I go around and there she is. There's been so many times in different stores where I think I see Frida Kahlo, because, like, the picture is basically Frida Kahlo, except it's a different person. Or, like, it's like a picture, like a painting of Frida Kahlo, but it's not really. It's like a bird, or with, like, the features of Frida Kahlo. Like, there'll be things that have no relation to Frida Kahlo that make my brain is like, that's fucking Frida Kahlo over there, isn't it? And then I go over there, and it's not. But sometimes I go over there, and it is, and then I have to leave, because I'm so mad. It's a testament to how fucking insane I am. I have no idea why, but Frida Kahlo never ceases to escape me and my reality and everything that I am, and I hate it. It is awful, and I will never look at Frida Kahlo the same. Because again, I don't really know much of what they did. They were a painter. That's the only stuff I really know about Frida Kahlo. And I care not at all to learn more because of all the troubles and pains that they have brought me throughout the many, many years of my life. Alright, before we continue, I'm gonna just throw in another one of our little segments or bits or whatever the hell you want to call them. 1 minute debate, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 1 minute debate going, where essentially I just pull up a random debate generator topic thing, and we debate something and for a minute, and you guys tell me if you agree. You guys give your side in the comments if you want to. Today's topic is ebooks are better than paper books. I should have already had a clock started. So ebooks are better than paper books. I mean, listen. it saves a lot of resources because you're not using all these trees to make books. But also, you have access to thousands and thousands and thousands of books all on this one little Kindle thing. Like, that's a no-brainer. Like, the investment is so just huge because that's the like. Have you ever tried to buy a book online, like an ebook online? It's substantially cheaper than the physical books because there's no overhead for that. It's literally just, okay, here's all the text for that. You just read it on this fucking tablet, and you have a great time. Like, obviously, it might hurt your ears. Not your ears, your eyes. If you do it too brightly. But most of them are usually, like, pretty dim because they're like, yeah, you're just going to be reading on this. It's literally, like, there's devices that are made just to read books. And it's like, you can spend a couple $100 on that. Or you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars every time you want to get a new book series. Like, just wait for it to go on ebooks, and then you read it on there, because there's no contest. There's no contest. There it is. So, there we go. 1 minute debate. You guys let me know if you agree with my stance. Again, this isn't my stance. It's the internet stance, but I'm just arguing it for them. So, if you agree, let me know. If not, then we will see ya in a minute. But yeah, I really do think this all kind of boils down to the whole idea of, like, synchronicities. Like, not to steal a topic from the greatest podcast in the universe, Distractable, but I really, like, it's insane how much I see them. And I'm sure there's been other times where I've seen things and people and stuff like that way, way more than Frida Kahlo. But because I'm aware of it, it happens even more often, which just makes me even more mad. Like, why does the brain have to work in a way that when you notice something, you notice it more from then on out? I would be so happy if I could live my life just being completely unaware of every time Frida Kahlo tries to jump scare me in public. Like, we'll go into bookstores, and oh, look, there it is, the Frida Kahlo book. We'll go into a coffee shop, and oh, look, some freaking Frida Kahlo anything. Or like, oh, that cup. You know what? The way the different patterns on the cup kind of looks like Frida Kahlo. It's a problem. it's like the opposite of an addiction. It's like I want to repel Frida Kahlo from my life. I don't want to digest, invest, obsess any more with them than I have to already. And it's a problem, and I hate it. But it's like, how does that even happen? It's like, once the synchronicity starts, it has to start from you noticing something eventually over a period of time, and then it's like, I imagine it's like an exponential thing where it's like, oh yeah, you notice this couple things happen every like few months. Like, oh, look at that, like my blinkers are going weird on my car, and then the more you notice it, the more you start paying attention to it, which means you notice it even more and more and more and more until it's like, holy shit, this happens every day, even though it doesn't really happen every day. It just feels like it does because you notice it more. And it's just like, I don't know what starts that. I don't know if it is a hatred thing, because at least with like the Distractable episode, they definitely didn't talk about much hatred things. They just talk about like seeing different cars and like lights turning off in front of them. I have a genuine hatred of Frida Kahlo after all this, and maybe that's only fueling the flames more. Maybe if I just stopped giving a shit about Frida Kahlo, I wouldn't see them anymore. But it's impossible to do that now, because every time I see them, my brain wants to throw the book into a traffic stop and hope that someone runs it over. But obviously it's a stop, so they don't get, swerved off the road and die. That'd be a little extreme. I'm trying to be reasonable here, but it just sucks. I don't understand why this happens, and it's just, I wish it didn't have to happen. And I'm sure there's plenty of other things in my life that are like synchronicity based that aren't just Frida Kahlo, but I can't think of any at the moment because, again, very last minute topic. Well, not to say very last minute, it's just very unorganized topic, very shitty topic, but also I can't think of any because Frida Kahlo is obsessively in my brain right now, and I need them to go away. Maybe if I just close the tab that says Frida Kahlo right in front of me. There we go. Now it's just Markiplier eating maple syrup. Pretty good. Pretty big change. Pretty happy change. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to talk about. Again, this is a very quick episode. So I'm just gonna do my. I don't really know. I have no idea. I guess we can end it here. It's very short. I feel really bad for keeping it this short. I'm sure we can think about something else to talk about. What other synchronicities are there, huh? Well, maybe we can find out after a word from not our sponsor, but from our next segment. That's not Markiplier. That was Markiplier. that was the next segment. That's right, folks. We're back with the guess who's that Pokemon? We're by the cry. We're gonna do their cries again. This time we're doing Generation 6 because this is the one I know the most. So I feel like I probably would have a better odds chance of getting this. So let's hear the first one. Oh my God, Talonflame! Shut up, Jesus. Okay, well, let's just do all 10. Let's go all 10 rapid fire. Okay, what? That's Volcanion, sure, yeah. Barbaracle, Binacle, Skiddo, or Chespin. That one is Barbaracle. That was Klefki, obviously. Tyrant, sure, why not? That's Aromatisse, everyone knows that one? That is Phantump. Love Phantump. That's Fennekin. That is Fletchender? Ooh. Man, I have no idea who that last one is. Either Doublade, Spupa, Aegislash, or Diancie. I'm gonna say Aegislash, sure. I got 8 out of 10. I didn't. Which ones didn't I get? I didn't get. Oh, the last two I got wrong. It was Helioptile and Doublade. I was gonna choose Doublade. Okay, well, it's fine. 8 out of 10, not bad. So who's that Pokemon? We know now. It's a lot of them. I don't know if this really counts as a synchronicity, but it definitely counts as like a strange obsession that I have, I guess. Maybe that's the sort of topic we're talking about today. But worms? Oh God. Oh, I had like a magnet under my phone camera. Hopefully that didn't just ruin my phone camera. It's cool. I still understand how magnets work. But yeah, worms. In particular, when it's raining. Every time it rains over here, worms come out like there's nothing else. And I love them. I love worms. I love the idea of worms. They're really cool little dudes. And I feel bad because I have to go. Usually if I'm going outside, it's to walk to work. It's to walk somewhere. It's to go out and do something in the universe. And in order to do it, I have this fucking road of worms to cross. And it's like, how the fuck am I going to do this without crushing any of these little babies? So I wind up taking so much longer to get anywhere because I have to carefully dodge and weave and swerve around all these different worms on the road. And I wind up taking like extra like 20 minutes because I'm like, I don't want to get on the worms, and I don't look up at all. One time a car like it didn't really almost hit me, but it got closer than it normally does to hitting me because I was so focused on going away from the worms that I started walking more into the actual car bit of the road, and one was like, hey. And I was like, oh shit, sorry. There are no worms and stuff, you know. But it's not like, again, it's not like, I feel like that's not that bad. It's just like literally, if I see a single worm on the road, I immediately think there's going to be more, and I look down and I have to like be careful for a few minutes until I see no worms. Okay, we're good. And then if I see another worm, wash, rinse, repeat. It happens all the time. It sucks because it's just like I just want to walk to work, but I also don't want to hurt these little worm guys. I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like children were really fucking evil with worms. Like there's like one Goosebumps bit where like they got the kid to like eat a worm, and then he ate a worm, and then he started turning into a worm or something. I don't remember, but it's just, I feel like that happens. Like people play with, like kids play with worms. They like, I feel like I was definitely in a group of friends when I was a kid that would just fucking do some evil shit to worms, and it's like, what the hell? Why would you do that? Like I never did it because I thought they were gross to touch. I didn't like worms as a kid, so I didn't want to go near a worm. But whenever my friends had a worm and they were like, oh, I'm just going to throw it or I'm going to eat it. I don't think they ever ate it. But the idea of kids eating worms, I hate that. It just seems wrong and disgusting, and I think it's awful. Like, I know gummy worms exist, but I hate gummy worms too. I hate gummy anything, so it's just like a lose-lose for me. So I feel like if that is the reason that more kids are inclined to eat gummy, like, they're more inclined to eat worms because they have had gummy worms before, if you feed a kid a gummy bear, would they then go and hunt a bear so that they can eat the real thing too? Or is it because they're less frequently seen, it's not like, kid brain isn't like, oh, look, I can go eat that bear. Maybe it's because they're a lot more threatening and fucking terrifying. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, there's a few things that like Frida Kahlo. I wouldn't say it's an obsession, but it's definitely like it takes over my brain whenever they do appear in my life. Like the entire day last Saturday, it was ruined for me because all I could think about was Frida Kahlo being there, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, Frida Kahlo! I hate you, Frida Kahlo. You suck. You smell bad." It was awful. I dislike Frida Kahlo. There's a lot of stuff like that. Let me know if you guys have anything like that in the comments. I guess we're done. I really have nothing else to say. I had a much more interesting but equally less prepared topic for this week that I'm going to have to push off again because we're going to be talking about the solar eclipse next week. And hopefully it's good news. If not, I'm real sad if I'm being honest, but we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. But I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm really excited for this next week. It's gonna be awesome. Maybe not over here on the channel, but just in my life. Generally, I'm gonna have a really great week this week. So I'll see you all then. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Tomorrow I'm off, so I'll see you guys Saturday for the last bit of the tests. Which there's still so many of, but it'll be fun. So, see you all then. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, everybody.